Happy Friday. You know what? It's not sunny. It's usually sunny on Friday, but I am really excited to be here with Terri. Terri, and she owns Transition Home Staging. She is the stager that I go to all the time. I love her. I want to introduce her to you, and she's going to tell us about herself, and then we're going to have some question and answer. So welcome, Terri.
Great. Thanks, Betsy, for having me. As Betsy said, my name's Terri, and my company's name is Transition Home Staging. We're located in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. But my company services the North Shore, northern suburbs, northwest suburbs, western suburbs, and I even go up to Wisconsin and work for a couple builders in that area. So southern Wisconsin, I guess I would say. I'm a full service staging company. I've been in business. I was actually a realtor for 12 years prior to starting my staging company, and I saw the need for staging out in the industry. So I decided to start my own staging company, and I've been doing that now for about 10 years. I do, like I said, full service staging, everything from just a pure consultation, telling sellers what they need to do to get their home prepped for the market, to doing hands-on staging of occupied homes, to vacant staging, to stage to live. People love what we do, and they want us to come into their house afterwards and replicate what we did during the staging. So we're kind of full service. There's a whole lot that we wouldn't do if asked. So I have a team of 4 stagers that work with me and 2 office people. And we all absolutely love what we do. So.
And you guys are fabulous. I've worked, of course, with Terri, and I've worked with other members of her team, and they all deliver amazing results. So, Terri, I want to talk about staging in our current environment. Mm-hmm. Some people think, well, I don't need to do anything. I'm going to get a ton of money for my house no matter what. I don't see that happening in the Chicago metropolitan area. And can you speak to that, please? And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, first off, I'd say every house, whether we're in an average market or we're in a what we're calling right now a hot market or a seller's market, I think staging can do wonders in any market. But especially in this hot market, what I'm finding is sellers becoming a little lax. And, that I feel they're leaving money on the table by not staging. Because they're saying, and I kind of attribute it to, you can be average, so I'll just prepare my home as, an average house that's going to go on the market. Or if you stage, you can be awesome, so do you want to be the average house or the awesome house? And leaving money on the table, what I mean by that is you're not taking the time to prep. I mean, any selling process is a stage of steps to get to a final sale. And it starts with the preparation, and I think most people know the basics of staging. They know to declutter and put their stuff away and that type of thing. But to make your house awesome for photography, I mean, that's people's first showing of the home, you need to go through some steps to get there. So there's the prep, there's pre-packing, there's, the staging, then getting the photography in there. And then after the photography, it goes live into the multiple listing service and or the PLN, which is what is the acronym again? The private listing.
It's private listing network. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it gets to that point, and, what the staging will do, instead of, you receiving the average amount of showings, you receiving, a couple offers, you receiving, a quick close date, what it's going to do is take you again from average to awesome. You're going to get multiple showings. You're going to get multiple offers, you become the most competitive house out there. That's what you want to be.
Exactly.
And staging is what takes you to the next level
Right.
in the process, because it is a process.
And I think that there are some projects, and correct me if I'm wrong, Terri, that are not, you don't have to rehab your entire house. Okay.
Correct.
So I would never, in most cases, I wouldn't say, okay, now rehab the kitchen, take out the wall, put in hardwood floors, replace the car, because that is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But there are things that Terri can suggest. Maybe you spend $5,000 on staging and some paint and some minor upgrades.
Prep work. Yeah.
That will bring you $10,000 or $15,000 in your return.
Yeah, or even more than that.
Right.
I have some, a couple examples I can share in a little while. But I mean, what staging really does is it shows a buyer the livability of a home. Right. There's a NAR stat, the National Association of Realtors staging stat, that says that 82% of buyers, and I want to get this right, so I'm going to look at my notes, say that it makes them easier to see themselves living in a home if it has been staged. Because what happens when staging is, we're asking them to do the basics, the decluttering. But what staging can help do is do proper furniture placement. Have furniture taken out if there's too much furniture in a room. Sellers become very complacent because they're used to living in a house a certain way, and that's how they like it. But they're not envisioning their house in a different way that a buyer would want to envision their house. So many sellers have all their furniture, and I have a couple photos to show later, all the furniture facing the television. Well, number one, that's how people live. But if you're getting ready to show your house and photograph it, that's not how you would want to have it photographed. Again, taking it just from an average house to an awesome house. A couple other things I wanted to bring up. Staging just kind of puts your house from a showing, a photography and a showing, visibility, people looking at the house, to, gosh, I really, and this is where the offers come in. Gosh, this house is going to go quick. I really need to do something about this, and I need to put my best offer in, because I'm not the only one that's looking at this house, that it has been, set up properly and shows people how to live in it. One other thing, I spend a lot of time in my training and in my education as a stager, learning who a target market of that specific house is going to be. And we're not setting it up for the current seller to live there and all the sellers' friends who just think their house is gorgeous. We're setting the house up to who the buyer is going to be that's going to buy their house, not how they're currently living. So that might be making, a couple paint changes, a couple light fixture changes, removing some dated furniture, bringing in updated artwork, bringing in lighting. Those are like so many things that sellers are missing in their current homes, because they get very complacent,
Absolutely. And a couple of things I want to just add to that. In this market, if your house doesn't have a lot of showings, then it's really bad, because it's doubly as bad. Because if an agent looks and they say, well, people aren't running to this house. And in this market, if people aren't running to this house, you're in trouble, because then immediately people are going to say something wrong. I don't want that one. I want the one that everybody wants.
Right.
You're not going to overpay for something that nobody wants.
Exactly. So, staging is part of the getting your home ready, the preparation process to putting your home on the market. It's just one of the steps that still needs to be included, even in a hot market. Because even if a house is beautiful, there's still a couple things that can be tweaked. You know,
Absolutely.
it could just be minor furniture placement, making the beds look like a hotel bedding, just very minor things to show the livability, to show the lifestyle that they can live in that house.
And that's something else that people need to remember. People buy houses with their hearts. Mm-hmm. They have in their head, they want 4 bedrooms, they want 2 bed. They don't just want bedrooms with bathrooms. They check those off, but they don't spend this amount of money unless they are in love. And so we have to present your home so that it's lovable, not just livable, but lovable. It is the emotional
connection is huge.
Just huge. And we want people to love their homes. It's not a trick. You want them to see how wonderful and warm and loving and how they could raise their kids or spend their life in that home. Mm-hmm. So we don't want them coming in and going, this doesn't feel right.
Well, and I always tell people, you start at the front door. In the winter in Chicago, not quite as important because people are looking to get inside quickly. But right. I mean, we're coming into the season where, you start at the front door, you walk into the foyer, and just like when you meet somebody, 3 to 5 seconds, people are going to decide whether they like your house or they don't like your house. So, they looked at the pictures already online, which drew them to make an appointment to come view the home. Now, by walking through the home, you have to be able to capture their attention and, get them to write an offer that day. You have to create the urgency and get them writing that offer. Not, this one's only okay. Let's keep looking a little, even in a hot market, if people aren't in love with a home, they're not going to buy it just to buy a home.
Right. And especially Chicago is not that place where people are coming in. We can't compare our market to Seattle or San Diego, where people are Silicon Valley, where the people are coming in with piles of cash and they don't care. Our buyers are working. They don't have time. They may be very wealthy, but they don't want to deal with this. They want to be able to move in and love it, and they will pay. But they don't want to have to start rehabbing and doing all of this. I do have to tell one story before we look at Terri's pictures, because it's one of my favorite. I sold a townhouse, and Terri helped me with it. And there were 2 on the market. They were townhouses, so they were exactly alike. Mm-hmm. My buyers, I had the seller, the people that ended up buying it, looked at the other unit online, did not even go into it, came into the unit that Terri had staged and paid cash for the unit. So you can't get a more scientific reality check that it mattered. And we actually had a less desirable location. So the staging made, and the woman wanted to buy some of the furniture that was Terri's.
My biggest success story that, I'm aware of, I always try to follow up with my agents and look at my stats because that's very important to me, was probably about 8 months ago. Last year's market, not this year's market, but it was probably the biggest success. We went in, asked the seller to make a couple updates to the home because they had an original kitchen, and they made those minor updates to the home and did some painting, some very minor things. And we staged the home, almost the whole house, probably used 50% of the seller's items. So it was a 50-50, us bringing in items to an occupied home that the sellers were still in, got rid of a lot of their dated furniture. I think they started showings on a Friday, and they had so many requests for showings. They were at 15-minute increments all day Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. They closed off the showings. They had 22 offers, and, they got to choose best of the best. And For a home that was listed at $499,000, they got $562,500 for that house.
And I'm sure they didn't spend $60,000 with Terri.
They did not spend $60,000 more than asking on me,
right?
Or even the updates that they did.
Right, that's what I mean. They didn't. So they definitely made a ton of money, and you just have to see this for what it is, and listen to the professionals who are giving you their advice. I mean, we say these things because we know them to be true.
Exactly.
So let's take a look at some of the pictures.
Okay.
Is that
great.
okay?
So
okay. I'm gonna flip them on here, and I'm gonna add them. And whoops, let me go back to slide. Okay. Here's Terri.
Okay,
First
so that's just my company. So are you got the flipping availability, or do I?
Yeah.
So these are all, I tried to feature mostly occupied homes. Our business model is we do about 60% occupied homes and 40% vacant, meaning we're staging a home that somebody's relocated or for a flipper or a builder. So this was obviously an occupied home. I think if they would put it on the market, it wouldn't look this bad, with all the kids' toys and everything laying around, that they would do some cleaning up. But this specific home, the furniture placement's not great. This is the formal living room. They got 2 desks in it. And, obviously we're going to declutter a little bit. And then this is the after picture.
Wow.
This was furniture that they had in their home. We just moved furniture, shifted furniture from one room to another. This was actually furniture that was in their family room. We moved it to the living room, and then the gray sofas that were in the other photo, we moved to their family room.
Unreal.
I mean, this, all the furniture there was theirs. The only thing that we brought in as a staging company was some of the art and a couple of the lamps, because they didn't have any lighting. So this is just an example of exactly furniture placement too. Last time we were looking at the back of a sofa. I'm standing in the foyer here, with proper furniture placement for photography and for showing.
Unbelievable. Let's go to the next. Ooh.
So this one, they didn't do a lot. She was a furniture refinisher, so she had a lot of furniture that we were able to repurpose from other parts of her house. We didn't ask her to do a lot. We kept the blue walls. We just moved furniture from other parts of her home and repurposed and staged the home, which is the next photo.
Unbelievable.
This was all furniture that she had, that we brought in from other rooms of the house.
I can't believe this. Whoops. There we go. I can make it even bigger. Okay. Should I go to the next one?
Yep.
Oh.
So this was, actually, it was the same house. She was a furniture refinisher. And I'm like, well, we have to make this room an office. And she's like, well, I have this table, but it's not in great shape. She's like, but I'd be willing to paint it. And I said, great, you paint it and we'll bring in the rest of the stuff for the room to finish it off and make an office. And the next picture will show the office.
Oh my Lord. Okay.
So again, we're working, all we brought in was a piece of art, the rug, and a few desk accessories.
Okay.
They actually had moved
Look
out
at
of
this versus this. Unbelievable. Wow. Okay.
So this is a great example of a home that, has very dated furniture. They were kind of hand-me-downs, family hand-me-downs. And, I thought, well, I know who the buyer of this house is going to be. It's going to be a young family, and this type of furniture and the coloring of the furniture and the accessories are not going to appeal to who I think the buyer of this home is going to be. So I asked, would it be okay if you just rented a whole room of furniture from me? I worked with all the other furniture in their home except for this one room. And then we brought in different furniture and changed the look of the home.
Ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
So just gave it a more modern, updated look. So that didn't look like it was grandma's furniture, hand-me-down furniture. And this house, all these homes that I'm featuring are all homes that have sold extremely quickly, after our staging. This again is a great example of it. It was a vacant home. This was some remnant furniture of the elderly couple that lived in the home. And I'm like, well, maybe it hasn't sold, because it was a very contemporary home. On the outside and the interior. I said, maybe if we bring in some more contemporary modern furniture, we can change the look of the house. And that's what we did. So you can go on to the next slide. And
oh my God. I'm just like sitting here. I mean, I know this and it's still affecting me.
Yeah. So, just in just like one little room, the difference that it makes. It doesn't always have to be a whole house. This room, we just brought in furniture for this specific room.
And
so this was, I have about 15 slides, Betsy. So
okay.
Whenever you want to cut me off.
No, I love this.
And I mean, this was a home, and I would say we used 80% of the items in this home. I had asked them to remove the balloon drapes, but they did not. You'll see that in the after photo. All we did is reposition some furniture. I brought in a few extra accessories and 2 accent chairs just to give the room, to finish the room off, because it just had no appeal. So here, I took the pink and mauve color from the art, brought it into the sofas, and brought in 2 more modern chairs. And again, this house, it sold in one day.
Unreal. Okay.
So there we worked with a lot of what the seller had. This, is the seller had moved out, but they were leaving all the big furniture. And I'm like, well, this furniture is just so dark and makes the whole room kind of drab. So we do very simple things where it's just like the next slide will show. All we did was bring in dining room chairs, just to give it, a lighter, brighter look. We did bring in some art and mirrors and stuff, but, the basic theme behind this one is just, change out the chairs in the dining room will totally change the look of the house.
Unbelievable.
I think the next one is the same thing, where again, it was just these odd dining room chairs. It didn't do anything for the appeal of the room. We used their dining room set and brought in different chairs and some different lighting for the back console and stuff. And again, changed the whole look of the room just by bringing in chairs and a few accessories.
Just amazing.
So this one, I wanted to feature furniture placement. This one was a huge sectional sofa, and this is in a family room. And as you can kind of see where the staircase is off to the right, the back of the sofa goes out past the staircase, out halfway into the middle of the room. And all we did in this room was flip the sofa. So the next picture will show that we flipped the sofa to the other side. We totally opened up the room and, obviously fluffed up the pillows and made sure everything was straight, added a few different accessories because they had lots of personal pictures on the bookcase behind it. Reduced the accessories, added a few greens, put a different piece of art instead of the family portrait up on the wall, and totally changed the look. And reorientating the furniture in this one was the big thing, because it was cutting off the entire room the way it was positioned before. Now you can walk straight from, straight into the room.
Unbelievable. Unreal.
This one was a simple one. Again, it was just depersonalizing. They had a lot of their kids' hockey pictures in the background, personal pictures on the bookcase, that type of thing. And then we asked them to declutter and take down all the personal effects, and, brought in some real cute poppy art, made it look like a really fun office to work from home, reorientated the desk a little bit just so it would photograph better.
This is so awesome. Ooh, this is what a lot of the houses that I work with look like. Right.
So this was, a couple that was downsizing. And, again, here, this furniture, it's all orientated towards the TV. So we have all the lounge chairs and all the furniture facing the TV. We have the large dated oriental floral rug over their beautiful hardwood floors, too much furniture in the room, and the drapes needed to go. And small art and photography, it doesn't typically work, so we replaced it with some art. So we'll show the next photo. So here, this is about 95% of the things that we used to stage this home were currently in their home. The only thing I think that we brought for this room, we took the rug from another room and brought it into this room. As you can see, we reduced a lot of furniture and just left the main living pieces of furniture. And then we just put a different piece of art over the sofa and a few accessories on the coffee table. All the rest was there, is that we just repurposed from other areas of the house.
Wow. Wow, this one.
And this one, you know, I deal with a lot of move up buyers right now. Because that's who's out there currently buying. Are, first time home buyers, which are the millennials, and then move up buyers, which are the Gen Xers. So this was a Gen X family. They had kids, and,
this is so much better.
Had to get, telling them to get rid of the toys. We need to turn this back into an adult living space. Almost everything in this room was theirs. The only thing we brought in was 2 end tables and 2 lamps and a few accessories. Again, we repurposed things from other rooms to achieve this look.
Absolutely fabulous. Ooh, look how dark this is.
Yeah, dark room. Again, furniture that's too big for the room, furniture that's all facing the TV again. They got dark black art on the walls. It was just a very non-inspiring room, is a good way to describe it. And then,
oh my gosh,
we got rid of their, we kept the sofa, but we brought in 2 additional accent chairs. Not everything orientated toward the TV. Set it up like a room should be set up. And we did bring in pops of color because the room was very, very, very dark. So we brought in some pops of color, lighter artwork, some greenery in the background.
Unreal. Well, I can't thank you enough, Terri. This was absolutely wonderful, so inspiring, and I am going to show this video to all of my clients because, I am not, it's sort of like a doctor telling you, well, if you do this, you're going to be healthier. I'm not selling anything. I'm trying to get my clients the biggest, I'm trying to get them the highest and best they possibly can. And
and one myth about staging that I will say is that people think it costs like so much money, like thousands and thousands of dollars. Yes, if you're staging a very high-end luxury property on the North Shore, yes, that's going to get to be somewhat expensive for staging. But just to do some of these projects like I just featured here today, on average, just to give people an idea, is between $750 and $1,500 to get their house in shape, show ready so that they're not average, they show awesome.
Okay. Anybody that will not spend $1,500 to get there, unless they have $100,000 home.
Yeah.
Maybe there, but anybody, it is so worth it. And I cannot thank you enough for being who you are and being available for me and my clients. And this video will be on my website. So anybody, I will be able to show it. Anybody has any questions, they can reach out to me. I can get them in touch with Terri, Transition Home Staging. And I cannot thank you enough. And maybe next year we'll come back.
To stay updated on my projects.
Yes.
Everybody can follow me on Transition Home Staging on Instagram or Facebook. And I'm constantly posting very similar pictures to this on a regular basis.
That's great. That's so fun. Well, thank you so much. And everybody have a healthy and happy weekend.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Bye.